subscribe to AstroDevi. Don't forget to click on the bell icon to get notified.
Hi everybody, this is AstroDevi and welcome to my channel, to my profile. And I'm really excited because I'm going to be doing 2020 predictions, and according of course to numerology, something that you really don't hear on the YouTube, on the internet, you know, these predictions according to numerology. But I don't use Western numerology. I use Chaldean Vedic numerology, and I find that it's been pretty accurate for me. And we're just gonna let you know what to expect for the year 2020. And first and foremost, before I even get into that, I just want to let you know that if you're new to this channel, you can find me at AstroDevi333 on Instagram and Facebook. You can email me at the email address in the description box below. If you have any comments or questions, you could always leave them below and I'll respond to them as accordingly. And I'm very excited to get into 2020. It's going to be a brand new year. It's going to be amazing. And I can't wait to describe what the energy is going to be like so you, the viewer, can take advantage of this time and you know how to use it. And obviously last year has been a little bit tough for everyone, but this year it's not going to be so much tough. It's just going to be about channeling our drive, so this way we know what to expect and what we can do with this really special energy that's coming up. And so let me break down 2020 for you. 2020 is a Rahu year, and this is how it came up, how this all added. Numerology is obviously about calculations using numbers, okay, and applying them to planets. So we have 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 0. It's a double moon year, a double zero year, and it equals Rahu because 2 plus 2 equals 4. We're not counting the zeros because it's just 0, right? So the moon, what does the moon represent? It represents our emotions, our sensitivity, our relationships, our intuition. It represents the mother energy and the energy to create, you know, so you'll see that you'll be very creative in the year 2020. And it's also about nurturing, right? We want to nurture our creativity. We want to nurture our relationships. We want to get ideas and be creative, you know, because of our emotions, what we're feeling, because our emotions really give us the ability to create. It also gives us the ability to manifest. What does 0 represent? Well, 0 is like an all or nothing kind of number, okay? And Rahu, well, the number 4 is ruled by Rahu, and so this represents illusions, okay? Our imagination represents drive, our courage. We have a lot of courage in the year 2020. You'll see that the energy will be much more intense. It'll be much more intense in terms of creativity. We'll have a much more increased desires. But the only negative that I can say about a Rahu year, depending on where it's placed in your chart, of course, is it could give us some kind of confusion. You know, maybe we might be experiencing a little bit of delusion in 2020, but it all depends on what your birthday is. It depends on when Rahu is in your chart. And so these things are very important factors to take into consideration. So let me go into the predictions part of 2020, because this is why you're here. You want predictions. You want to know what's going on in the world, and you want to know what's going on with you. And I'm going to get to your personal year numerology shortly after I give you some of these descriptions, some of these predictions as to what's happening this year. So 2020 is an all or nothing year, okay? And my advice to you, the viewer, is to have an attitude of I'm in it to win it. This is a year where you put your all into something, a relationship, a creative project, a job, a career, anything that you're doing. And you know, if you're writing a book, whatever it is, you know, if you're a cook, whatever it is, this is the year to explore, to experiment, to try things that you've never tried before, okay? And to go in it with the mindset that you're going to win it, that you're going to come out on top. And so because, you know, Rahu does rule some illusions, the most wonderful thing about it is it helps you to really go as far as you can go, all right? Because Rahu, when you look at the number 4, right, it looks like someone is standing on one leg with 2 hands in the sky trying to reach as high as they can. That is what we're supposed to do in the year 2020, to go as far as we can go, because Rahu is all about no limitations. There's no such thing as limitations when it comes to Rahu. It's about really going as far as you can, and that's what I would like you to do, okay? Go as far as you can. Take your dreams as far as you can take them, okay? This is not a year for quitters. You know, like I said, it's all or nothing kind of year. And so provides you this year, this 2020 year provides you opportunities that are unique, perhaps even risky, but these unique and risky ideas, okay, and opportunities could really, and ventures even, could really develop into something very special. Okay, so I want you to keep that in mind. What I can say in terms of relationships and partnerships, well, you know, um, relationships could be intense, partnerships can be intense, but you know what, there could be a lot of creative ability between partnerships and relationships. Okay, there could be things that people are doing, you know, perhaps you might partner up or meet someone that you may not have likely desired previously, you know, because Rahu is unique, modern, does things that are not part of the status quo, because Rahu does its own thing. So it could be that you might tie yourself or get involved in some kind of commitment with someone that is unique to you, you know, something that you've never considered before you might be considering now. One of the wonderful years about Rahu years is the advancements with technology. So you'll see so many brand new things coming out this year. You'll see advancements with regards to drugs, but you'll also see advancements, okay, in introductions, because Rahu is a very creative planet. You'll see advancements in terms of herbal medicine, holistic medicine, which is fabulous, 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 fabulous. So, you know, for those of you that follow into that, you'll see many different ways that you can heal yourself holistically through medicine, you know. And because Rahu is everything that's above the ground, you know, you'll see it with plants and stuff. So it's not so much about plants that grow underground, it's about plants that grow above ground. And electronics, I mean, every time we're in a Rahu year, or when Rahu's in Gemini, which it happens to be this year, we always see the most interesting advancements in electronics. I mean, if you really think about it in history, you know, from phones to televisions to computers to fax machines. I mean, now we could send faxes through the internet. It's so amazing. So you're going to see so much more advancement in that field, and it's going to be pretty incredible. Rahu is also the planet for inventions. You'll see so many new inventions coming out this year. It probably is going to make your head spin or make you really excited, because it's something that maybe we've been in need of, or something that we just never thought of before. So if you have an invention, put it out this year, you know, put it into a manifestation. And remember, this year is very awesome for putting your unique spin on a business, or putting your unique spin on an idea. So take advantage of this year to really do that. One of the cautionary things, though, I do tell people about Rahu years is to be wary of the food that you're eating and the water that you're drinking, because there tends to be food poisoning or water contamination. There can be things with liquids. You got to be very careful with liquids that you're ingesting or putting inside your body. For those of you that have followed my predictions in 2019, some of the things I was talking about was a vaccine. So you'll see things about that, and seeing things about contamination and vaccines. Those are one of the things that are going to come up in 2020. You'll see also, because of these spills, not spills, but because of these contaminations, you'll see the price of water rising up this year. And so some of you may be like, it's really ridiculous, but you'll see also that we already have some advancements in purifying water. You'll see some more unique and more better advancements in terms of purifying water and purifying liquids and trying to make things more pure. One of my predictions that happen, well, that may happen or is likely to happen, I hope to God it doesn't come out, but oil spills or accidents with oils and gas, you know, or things that are happening with smoke, or things that can happen with explosions. These things could tend to happen in the year 2020. You know, why? Because Rahu, you know, it is an explosive planet, but it also rules smoke, it rules oil and gas. And so you'll see things happening. Well, two rules oils, but Rahu rules gas, because it's like an illusion. It's like the fog. It's also a mad scientist kind of year. So as I said before, it's about inventions, but it could also be a year where maybe experiments go wrong or they go really wild. So you want to keep an eye out on what you're doing. If you're someone who's into chemistry or making all kinds of concoctions or potions. Be very careful because it might have kind of like a steroid effect where it could be much bigger than you thought it could, that you anticipated rather. So you have to be very careful about the things that you're doing in terms of when you're dealing with liquids and smoke or things that are related to those elements. One of the biggest things that you can also expect for 2020 is that you'll see lots of rebellions. You'll see lots of protests. You'll see lots of rallies. You might see disobedience or civil disobedience against the norms. You know, Rahu is not a traditional planet, so you'll see that people will do things that are untraditional. You know, people could be breaking the rules or breaking the laws. There could be rebellions and protests against rules and laws and traditions, you know, because Rahu is a planet that wants to be free. He doesn't want to be restricted in any way, shape, or form. So you'll see that many of us, in some way, shape, or form, whether it's in our community, whether it's in our culture, whether it's in our network, whether it's in our religion, whether it's to government, you know, many of us will be inclined to break those rules, to change the rules, to make things different. So this way we're not having our freedoms taken away. Because Rahu is ultimately about freedom, the freedom to do what you want without being restricted in any way. So if there are things that are taking place that are limiting that freedom of yours, you'll see a rebellion. You'll see that you may be inclined to rebel against that, because anyone in a Rahu year does not want to be strained, you know, constrained within borders or caged in any kind of way. So don't be surprised if something happens that you're gonna want to take with some opposition. You know, you may have some kind of opposition towards a community, a network, a culture, religion, or a government. You know, it's very likely to happen. You know, why? Because you'll feel very passionate about that, you know, and with double two in the year 2020, you'll be much more emotional, much more inclined to really want to change things that are going to make you feel happy. You know, our emotions, well, we want to do things that will put us in a positive state of mind. And so you'll see that you'll be working on that, putting things in a perspective where you could achieve a more positive and happy state of mind. Some of the best careers for a 2020. Well, some of the best careers are those careers that are related to Rahu and the moon. And so what's related to the moon? Food, drinks, liquids, potions, chemistry, medicine. Also, what's related to Rahu? Technology, inventions, electronics, building software. Remember, as far as building is concerned, Rahu rules steel, metals. So we could see a lot of inventions or building that uses and incorporates all kinds of metals, especially steel. You could see inventions in terms of software programming, things that are creative, lots of out-of-the-box ideas, and inventions that are very modern related and very future related. So if you're interested in doing anything that revolves around that, and anything that revolves also around the internet, and that revolves around oils and gases, things of that nature, any kind of liquid, you'll do really, really well. You know, you'll get a lot more attention for that. So you'll see that taking place in the year 2020. So let's figure out how to calculate your personal year, okay, for 2020. And I love to give a personal year prediction. So we're gonna find out yours, and let me pull up this, let me share the screen with you so I can really explain to you how this works. Okay, so how to calculate your personal year for 2020. So we need to use your birthday, and I'm using this example, August 21st, 1990. So we're going to add the month, the day, and the current year, not your birth year, but just the current year to get to your personal year. So we know that each month is represented by a number, and so August is represented by the number 8. Why? Because it's the 8th month of the year. So we're going to add 8 plus 2 plus 1 plus 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 0, and we get the number 15. So now we have to reduce this to a single digit. So 1 plus 5 equals 6, and 6 is your personal year. So this is how we come up with our personal year. And it's pretty exciting because we want to figure out what our personal year is. And if I went too fast with the screen, you could always just pause it and calculate your number. But I want to get into what your personal year predictions are. So if your personal year is 1, this is about new beginnings, new ventures, new people, new ideas, new career, lots of movements, new explorations. I always think of the Fool and Tarot card for those of you that are tarot lovers or familiar with tarot. It's like the Fool, you're going on a new adventure. You don't know where you're going, but you have the drive to get there. So it's about going to different places, meeting different people, really coming outside of your old element. You're developing something new, and it's also a brand new cycle. And that's something that I did forget to mention before. 2020 is the start of a new 10-year cycle, so this is very exciting for all of us because we all got a new beginning, and we're all finishing up our 10-year cycle, and we're getting to start it off brand new. And for those of you that are 1 year, you're starting your new 10-year cycle with a 1 personal year. So for those of you that are a 2 personal year, this has to do with your intuition, creativity, dreams, relationships, partnerships, sensitivity, and emotional growth. It's also about bringing things back into balance. So, we'll be going through some tough emotional things, okay, that we need to go through because we need to put things behind us, and we also need to be able to grow and nurture ourselves. So you'll see that you'll be nurturing yourself emotionally, you'll be nurturing yourself through your senses, you'll be nurturing yourself through your relationships, but it's also about bringing into balance your relationships. So whenever you look at the number 2, right, the number 2, it looks like the head of a swan. You look at a swan, the swan actually looks like the number 2, whereas the 1, it's kind of like a rocket, it goes in one direction. So number 2, it's about swans, and we all know that swans are very sensitive birds and animals, and they also represent love, and swans represent relationships, but they could be very emotional, very sensitive creatures, right? So and swans, where's swans? Swans are, right there. They're always on the water, and water represents our emotions, right? So this is how intuition and creativity and dreams come into place. We've got to pay attention to our dreams this year. Have to pay a little bit more attention to our relationships, our partnerships, to bring that, bring everything back into balance. So there's a lot of emotional growth happening this 2020 for you, and it's not a time for you to be, sad or upset. It's just time for you to grow. For those of you that are in a 3 personal year, it's about growth, expansion, socializing, having fun, talents, expanding your skills, doing things that bring a lot more fun and joy in your life, okay? It's also a very optimistic year, so you'll see that you have a lot more optimism taking place in your life, and so that's going to be very exciting for you. For those of you that are going through a 4 personal year, right? This is about building foundations, stabilization. It's about problem solving. It's about putting in efforts to grow, to go up that corporate ladder, whatever it is that you're doing. It's about bringing stability and growing, and moving on up. So it's all about your efforts. For those of you that are in a 5 personal year, this is about adventures, change, and movement, opportunities. You could also get confused because you might have so many opportunities, you might not know which way to go. It's not a great year for your love life. You might feel independent. You might feel like you want to be independent of someone. If you're in a relationship, you might feel like you need your space in a 5 year. If you're single and you're dating, I think it's a great year to date and not, exactly commit to someone as of yet. This is also a year where you might be very sensitive to smells and to sensations, pay attention to your 5 senses. Sometimes your fears, could pop up. Some of us could get, fall into addictions very quickly in a 5 years, so be aware of that. And it's also the year of sex and drama, so it could be, a very a sexually aspiring year, or it could be action oriented where there's a lot of drama and things taking place. For those of you that are going through a 6 personal year, it's a great year for healing. It's a great year for your external physical life, for your home, for your family, for love and desires. Great year for commitments. Great year for getting engaged, getting married, having a baby, adopting a pet. You'll see these things likely to happen. At least one of these things likely happening. Designing your home cosmetically, changing your style. Those things take place in a 6 personal year. For those of you in a 7 personal year, hey, 7 personal years are wonderful. It's a great time for reflection, learning lessons, establishing principles, internal development, trying to find peace within, retreating. So you might find, many of these things taking place for yourself in a 7 personal year. 8 personal year, it's a karmic year, balanced money, power plays definitely take place. There could be some challenges, but I also do find major turning points taking place in 8 years, and some of you may even be dealing with legal matters. So be careful with money, because it is, the number 8 is like highs and lows. So you might have some big wins or you could have some big losses. But like I said before, it's about balance. So do what you can not to excessively spend, but don't be afraid to invest in something, but something stable. Something stable. It's not a good time to take risks. It's good to play on risky ideas, but not exactly to take risks. 9, this is the year of completion, fulfillment, endings, dealing with unfinished business. So sometimes people get a little bit emotional in a 9 year. Why? Because it's all about endings, when you have to let go and move on. So you might see that taking place in your relationships, your partnerships. Maybe you might move somewhere else. These are all possibilities with 9 personal years. I did also want to bring up another chart. So numerology, birthday compatibility. There's so many ways to look at things from a numerology perspective, and this is definitely one of them. So you always just look at your birthday. So for the example that I started before is 21, right? 2 plus 1 is 3. So that's the root number of 21. And so this could also determine how your year 2020 will go. And so the number 3, 21, is part of the 3 series. Remember, this is the day that you're born in any month. Any month. It could be the 21st of January, February, March, or April. It doesn't even matter. It just, we have to look at the actual day that you were born, and we see in which series it is. So for those of you that are in the 1, 3, and 6 series, it'll be a more smoother year for you. Those of you that are in the 4, 5, and 7 years, it's about trying to put things into balance, keeping things into balance. Not that much effort needs to be made, but some effort, of course. And for those of you that are in that birth dates are in the 2, 8, and 9 years, well, you got to put a little bit more effort. You got to put a little bit more effort into 2020. And a little elbow grease never hurt anybody. Remember that. And always keep that in mind. And so these are my predictions based on numerology for 2020. And I hope that you've enjoyed them. I'm hoping that you'll be able to apply them. I think it's great to know what the energy is ahead, so this way we could plan our lives according to the energy and really take advantage of this energy, because it is very special. It's the only 2020 year we're going to have in our lives, so we might as well take advantage of the energy that's being offered to us so that we can apply it in our lives as best as possible. And don't forget to leave a like, to share. If you have any questions and comments, leave them below. Remember, you could always find me at AstroDevi 333 on Instagram or Facebook. And wishing you all a wonderful, awesome, happy new year for the year 2020. I'm looking forward to hearing all about your year as the year comes along. Until next time, everybody. Bye-bye.
Please like, share, subscribe to AstroDevi. Don't forget to click on the bell icon to get notified.